Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We're sitting in Russell Square Park. According to the weather people, it's like a heat rage. No, not heat rage. I get heat rage. Sorry, it's a heat wave. I get heat rage, but I don't feel anything, and I don't like the heat. It's like but I think they said it's starting Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. If you're watching on Facebook, this will go out on Monday, but on the YouTube channel, if you haven't subscribed already, Sally Webb, did you manage to subscribe?
Really? Sally, you hadn't subscribed yet? Oh my goodness.
So that's Bhagavatam Bites. That will go out today. So today being Friday. But honestly, it's just, I don't feel
It's very nice. It's a beautiful day out here in the park. It's lovely.
It's a bit cold.
Cold. Okay. But we're here to read Srimad Bhagavatam. We're going to do that.
Alright, Canto 3, Chapter 27, Text 4.
Yes.
Understanding material nature.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
The last one is higher in octane.
Octane.
Octave.
Octane is how you measure gas. It's octave.
Octave.
An octave. And an octave is a whole 8 steps. Or 7 steps.
Alright.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I can't even say it right.
Text 4. Actually, a living entity is transcendental to material existence, but because of his mentality of lording it over material nature, his material existential condition does not cease. And just as in a dream, he is affected by all sorts of disadvantages. Purport. The example of a dream is very appropriate. Due to different mental conditions, in dreams we are put into advantageous and disadvantageous positions. Similarly, the spirit soul has nothing to do with this material nature, but because of his mentality of lording it over, he is put into the position of conditional existence.
Conditional existence is described here as Dhyato Vishayan Asya. Vishaya means an object of enjoyment. As long as one continues to think that he can enjoy material advantages, he is in conditioned life. There you go, right there. As long as we continue to think that we can enjoy material advantages, we're in conditioned life. But as soon as he comes to his senses, he develops the knowledge that he is not the enjoyer, for the only enjoyer is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, he is the beneficiary for all the results of sacrifices and penances, Bhoktaram Yagatapasam, and he is the proprietor of all the 3 worlds, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the actual friend of all living entities. Doesn't say that here, but it's Suridam Suridam Sarva. Oh my God. How's it go? Bhoktaram Yagatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarva Bhutanam. That's it. Suridam Sarva Bhutanam. Gyantvamam Shantam Richati. But instead of leaving proprietorship, enjoyment, the actual position as the friend of all living entities to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we claim that we are the proprietors, the enjoyers, and the friends. We perform philanthropic work thinking that we are the friends of human society. Someone may proclaim himself to be a very good national worker, the best friend of the people and of the country, but actually he cannot be the greatest friend of everyone. The only friend is Krishna. One should try to raise the consciousness of the conditioned soul to the platform of understanding that Krishna is his actual friend. If one makes friendship with Krishna, one will never be cheated, and he will get all help needed. Arousing this consciousness of the conditioned soul is the greatest service. not posing oneself as a great friend of another living entity. The power of friendship is limited. Although one claims to be a friend, he cannot be a friend unlimitedly. There are an unlimited number of living entities, and our resources are limited. Therefore, we cannot be of any real benefit to the people in general. The best service to the people in general is to awaken them to Krishna consciousness so that they may know that the supreme enjoyer, the supreme proprietor, and the supreme friend is Krishna. Then this illusory dream of lording it over the material nature will vanish. Wow, that's powerful. Powerful. Any thoughts?
Yeah, the best service to the people in general is to awaken them to Krishna consciousness.
How do you do that?
Well, there's no, I would say, hard and fast rules.
Okay, interesting.
Someone was asking me recently, they were saying, because they like to watch Prabhupada Memories during their lunch break, and they've watched the whole thing little bit every day. They have like an hour, I think, and eat their lunch, and consistently though, working and watch, like, meaning during their lunch break. So they finished and then they made a point very sincerely saying, so I guess, you know, like they finished it, so then they said, they felt awkward to say this, but they said, I guess I should now watch Prabhupada lectures, you know, that's the thing I've got to move on to. The accent is not so easy, but I could sense that there was reluctance, not doing things with Prabhupada because I just spent this whole year, whatever, watching, but I thought, what does this person need to hear? And I was in a position of mentorship, I'll be honest. So then I thought, I could either say, hey, you know, you're supposed to be listening to this regularly, you know, you're supposed to, and then I thought, no, what is it that's going to awaken or keep that rasa, you know, what is it that's good, how am I going to fan the sparks? So I said, no worries, then just watch Prabhupada Memories all over again. And they got so happy because they were genuinely watching it and getting taste, and they would share every time we met, we had meetings, and that you could see this person was getting a lot out of it and sharing. So do that then, there's no harm in that. So whatever it is that will keep you under this spiritual energy, do it. And it was really interesting, especially for someone like myself. Sometimes I can be a bit, you know, black and white. But yeah, as I'm getting a little older, you know, the most important thing is to keep everyone in the fire.
Stay blissful at all costs.
Sometimes you want to put people in fire, but that's
Krishna,
different.
Krishna, Vishnu, Vishnu, Hari, Hari,
But the fire of Krishna consciousness, and it will work itself out, because that's the nature of Krishna consciousness. You can't come near the supreme personality of Godhead and not get purified, and not have intelligence from within and without, but just keep them plugged in, you know? Keep people plugged in. Everyone's at different levels, and
stay in the fire.
It's interesting to somehow just help people to stay connected.
Stay connected. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it's great. So, no hard and fast rules to give people the highest, you know, the highest benefit we can do isn't just to be a friend, but to be, you know, a real friend. I appreciated this way Prabhupada said, instead of leaving proprietorship, enjoyment, and the actual position of the friend of all living entities to the Supreme Lord, we claim that we are the proprietors, enjoyers, and best friends of everyone. So instead of trying to, pretend to be these things, then we let the reality do it. Although it is a little heavy, you know, the thing that I first read, that as long as we think we can enjoy material advantages, that's a very difficult one, because the nature of the soul is pleasure seeking. So it's just natural to think, you know, it's like we didn't come out here today and choose to sit in the thorn bush. Let's, you know what I mean? Let's if you think that you can enjoy material, you know, of course we're sitting on the ground, and we have not a blanket exactly, but some cloth that we sit down, you know, but we don't you don't naturally go out of your way to just do stuff that causes you difficulty. So in whatever you do, you're naturally trying to find get some pleasure out. It's like you don't cook and not put any salt or any spice and just, of course, this is what tapasvis and yogis do. But, we cook for Krishna. Now, when we cook for Krishna, okay, we should cook what we like. Or should cook what Krishna likes. Freudian slip. We should cook what Krishna likes. But at the same time, who doesn't? I don't remember reading in Chaitanya Charitamrita or in Krishna book that Krishna ate pizza or lasagna or tofu steaks or, curd burgers or ice cream for that matter.
Banoffee
Exactly.
pie.
Banoffee pie.
Pecan pie.
Okay, yeah.
Sweet rice.
No, sweet rice he does eat.
That's true.
The
Hot chili sauce on your chips.
Well, it doesn't say that, but you would think that Krishna probably likes a little spice. But anyway, so, for me it's a little bit of a challenge. Okay, where is that fine line? And then later the idea is that we have to give up that propensity to thinking that we're the enjoyer. We just have to try to keep remembering Krishna in whatever we're doing. So if we're cooking something that we like, sweet rice, banoffee pie, making ice cream, try to remember Krishna. I want to offer you this for your pleasure. I want you to enjoy this. And of course Krishna gives it back to us as prasad, as mercy, so that we can enjoy it. Because also Krishna doesn't want us to suffer either. He doesn't want his devotees to suffer. He doesn't want his parts and parcels to suffer. But at the same time, we're already suffering in this material world. Even when we think we're enjoying, we're suffering. Okay, I think I've rambled enough now.
I think for me it's like I wouldn't offer food that I think I really hate this, but then this is my detachment, because I will not offer food that my tongue likes. So this food that I definitely don't like celery and beetroot, I'll offer it and eat it. Now I will offer the pizza, the pasta, the paneer, but I feel the fact that I go through that process of offering it is like the purifying force, if I may, So like Prabhupada says, you don't need to give anything up, but you add Krishna, So, okay,
so make sure you inject him into the process and
do the offering and do it nicely and properly.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing, because as we go on in time, instead of doing the proper offering, we just say Vishnu, 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 or just, I made it for you, Krishna, Haribol, But if you had the Prime Minister, the President come to your house and you just come in and sling him down some grub and say, oh, here, it's for you, I made it for you. Mm-hmm. It's about presentation and consciousness, ultimately. Anyway, should we read on?
Text 5. It is the duty of every conditioned soul to engage his polluted consciousness, which is now attached to material enjoyment, in very serious devotional service with detachment. Thus his mind and consciousness will be under full control. Purport. The process of liberation is very nicely explained in this verse. The cause of one's becoming conditioned by material nature is his thinking himself the enjoyer, the proprietor, or the friend of all living entities. This false thinking is a result of contemplation on sense enjoyment. When one thinks that he is the best friend to his countrymen, to society, or to humanity, and he engages in various nationalistic, philanthropic, and altruistic activities, all that is just so much concentration on sense gratification. The so-called national leader or humanist does not serve everyone. He serves his senses only. That is a fact. But the conditioned soul cannot understand this because he is bewildered by the spell of material nature. It is therefore recommended in this verse that one engage very seriously in the devotional service of the Lord. This means that one should not think that he is a proprietor, benefactor, friend or enjoyer. He should always be cognizant that the real enjoyer is Krishna. the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is a basic principle of Bhakti Yoga. One must be firmly convinced of these three principles. One should always think that Krishna is the proprietor, Krishna is the enjoyer, and Krishna is the friend. Not only should he understand these principles himself, but he should try to convince others and propagate Krishna consciousness. So in order to propagate it, though, one would have to have some degree of faith in it ourselves.
Yeah, for sure.
So save yourself to the extent that you can save others.
Yeah. As soon as one engages in such serious devotional service of the Lord, naturally the propensity to falsely claim lordship over material nature disappears. That detachment is called vairagya. Instead of being absorbed in so-called material lordship, one engages in Krishna consciousness. That is control of consciousness. The yoga process necessitates controlling the senses. Yoga indriya samyamaha. Since the senses are always active, their activities should be engaged in devotional service. One cannot stop their activities. If one wants to artificially stop the activities of the senses, his attempt will be a failure. Even the great yogi Vishwamitra, who was trying to control his senses by the yoga process, fell victim to the beauty of Menaka. There are many such instances. Unless one's mind and consciousness are fully engaged in devotional service, there is always the opportunity for the mind to become occupied with desires for sense gratification. Absolutely. So mind are fully engaged. Fully engaged, that's the trick, isn't it? One's mind and senses have to be fully engaged. Fully engaged. Yep.
One particular point mentioned in this verse is very significant. It is said here, prasattam asatam pati. The mind is always attracted by asat, the temporary material existence. Because we have been associated with material nature since time immemorial, we have become accustomed to our attachment to this temporary material nature. The mind has to be fixed at the eternal lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Savai mana Krishna pada ravindaya. One has to fix the mind at the lotus feet of Krishna, then everything will be very nice. Thus the seriousness of Bhakti Yoga is stressed in this point.
In this verse.
In this verse. See, I'm not even focusing on what I'm reading. Yeah, it's really important. I like that, but I try to apply that myself in Krishna consciousness. I try to be serious, but that doesn't mean I don't have a laugh. I don't think serious means you have to be dry and like boring and like, oh, don't say anything. I like to have a good laugh actually. But I'd like to think that I don't mean this in a like arrogant way, but I like to think I'm serious about the process. I like to think, yeah. But I don't believe that means you need to be boring to show I'm a serious person.
Oh, Krishna is not boring, that's for sure. Krishna's dearmost devotees, they certainly aren't boring. Then the ones that are boring are the ones who are either impersonalists or just on the Shanta platform, neutrality, or in kind of awe and reverence, like that. But the more that we develop our relationship with Krishna in a more personal way, then Krishna likes to have fun.
Yeah.
So it's good. So it shouldn't be dry and boring. Absolutely. Yeah, I like this point about the mind has to be, the mind has a tendency, prasaktanam asatam pati, that the mind is always attracted by asat, the temporary material existence. The mind is just naturally attracted to that which is temporary. But actually we have to become absorbed in Krishna consciousness, and then the mind will kind of let go of that. Because you have to engage fully. You have to engage fully. That's the thing. The idle mind is a devil's workshop, right? Our idle hands are devil's workshop. So we need to keep these faculties engaged somehow, inspirationally. Anyway. Okay, so should we finish there?
Okay.
Thank you all very much for tuning in. Please remember, like, comment, subscribe, share,
and read the Srimad Bhagavatam.
and read the Srimad Bhagavatam. Haribol.
And please stay hydrated in this hot weather and wear a hat if you can.
Yeah. Okay.
And make sure dogs don't go out too early or midday because they get dehydrated and their tongues stick out. So take water with you for the dogs.
She is the lover of all living entities. Sarva Bhutanam. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.